It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness.
Sky Island Saga, Rulika Island Arc. Luffy and the Straw Hats are being chased by a small fleet of marine ships led by Major Pasqua and Hisoka. Luffy and his crew barely escape when the marine's major accidentally sinks one of his own ships. The crew then make their way towards an island named Rulika. They soon meet Flip, the son of a mayor and the commander of a troop who collects taxes from the people of Rulika, the collection party, and they find out the island is in fact ruled by a former pirate, Mayor Wetton, that is overtaxing the people. Luffy, Usopp, and Robin also meet Professor Henzo, who's doing research on something called the Rainbow Mist, sponsored by the scrupulous Wetton. Suddenly, a huge galleon, the Tarialishin, appeared in the harbor, and Luffy and the others go explore it, and turns out to be a pirate ship of Wetton's pirates. When some of the mist shows up, Henzo borrows the Going Merry, and Luffy, Usopp, Robin, Henzo, and Zoro, who is sleeping on the ship, go inside it. The inside of the Rainbow Mist is full of wrecked ships and treasure, and is guarded by 5 kids. The kids are actually friends of Henzo's that got lost in the mist over 50 years ago, along with the Tarialishin and Ian, a member then of the Wetton Pirates. Henzo states that the flow of time is different inside the Rainbow Mist, and the space is distorted. So Luffy and the others try to find a way out of the ship graveyard. Finally, Flip communicates with Henzo with a Denden Mushi, and the company realizes that they're still connected with the outside world. Then, Luffy accidentally propels himself and Rapa Nui, one of the kids, to the end of the mist. The mayor, though, uses the Rainbow Tower to make a bridge to the Rainbow Mist and launches an attack inside it, along with Lake, the son of Flip, and his grandson. Luffy goes back to the Rainbow Mist by throwing himself and Rapa Nui through the Rainbow Tower. There, he fights Wetton, but the mayor manages to escape and blows the Rainbow Tower away. Luffy and the others, though, escape the Rainbow Mist on board Going Merry with the help of Rapa Nui and the other kids who stayed behind to blow up the marine ship and give the Going Merry a boost to escape from the explosion. Outside, the mayor gets arrested by a bunch of powerful marines that turn out to be older versions of Henzo's friends, who were thrown 50 years into the past by the Rainbow Mist's collapse. The marines let Luffy and the Straw Hats go, and the crew departs onward to their next adventure. Sky Island Saga, Jaya Arc. Not long after Luffy and the Straw Hats left Arabasta, a massive ship fell from the sky and into the sea. From Nico Robin and a brief search of the sinking ship which wielded a map, Luffy and his crew learned that the ship fell from an island in the sky called Skypia. Needing more info on the matter, Luffy and his crew decided to explore more of the ship. Using special diving suits created by Usopp, Luffy, along with Zoro and Sanji, explored the sunken ship. As they explored the ship and found few things, their search was cut short as the ship was suddenly clamped and filled with air, and a bunch of other people appeared. After taking care of the intruders within the newly created air pocket, the 3 encountered a monkey-like person bursting into the room. Although Luffy and the stranger initially got along, they unfortunately got on bad terms when they found out that they were after the same thing. Fortunately, with thanks from his 2 crewmates, Luffy escaped from Masira and a giant turtle that ate the ship at the same time. As Luffy and the others were about to deal with this new foe, they suddenly witnessed something that completely scared them: the shadowy silhouettes of creatures several times larger than regular giants. After escaping from the creatures and getting rid of Masira, who accidentally tagged along, Luffy and his crew learned of Jaya from an eternal pose that Robin stole from the guy. Needing info on how to get into Skypia, Luffy and his crew sailed for Jaya. Arriving in Jaya at the port of Mocktown, Luffy and his crew found that the place they landed on was a lawless town filled with pirates. Wanting to explore the town as well as get information, Luffy, along with Zoro and Nami, went offshore into town. With a promise not to fight while in Mocktown to Nami, the 3 explored the place and encountered several of the inhabitants. They eventually end up in a bar wherein Luffy has a small argument with another customer. Though the incident ended without a hitch, Luffy and his companions encountered a much more serious one. Luffy and his companions soon encountered in the bar Bellamy and his crew with the intention of seeing if Luffy was worthy of joining his new age of pirates. However, upon learning that Luffy and his crew wanted to go to Sky Island, Bellamy, along with the rest of the bar, started ridiculing them and the notion of dreams such as a Sky Island. Though the situation got worse with Luffy and Zoro taking hits from Bellamy's crew, they however refused to fight. As the 2 were dragged out by a frustrated Nami, the 3 were congratulated and encouraged by the pirate that Luffy argued with earlier, though the man assured them that dreams would never die. Luffy and Zoro, however, sensed something up with him and the people that are apparently associated with him. Returning to the Going Merry, Luffy and the others soon learned that while their search was unproductive, Robin's was successful. Learning that a man by the name of Mont Blanc Cricket might know something, they headed off to the other side of Jaya. After escaping a brief encounter with Misara's brother, Shoujo, Luffy and his crew reached Cricket's home. There, they had a brief misunderstanding with Cricket, who they found out apparently suffered from decompression sickness. However, upon helping Cricket and clearing things with him, Luffy and his crew were able to get better acquainted with the former pirate. For helping Cricket, they were also able to reconcile with Cricket's proteges, Masura and Shoujo. As they explained the problem and got acquainted with Cricket and his proteges, Luffy and his crew learned of Cricket's past and his ancestor. Showing interest with Cricket's dream, Luffy and his crew convinced Cricket to help them out in getting to Skypiea. While having acquired help from someone who could aid them into getting to Skypiea, Luffy and his crew, however, found out that they needed an important thing to aid them: the South Bird. This bird is explained to them by Cricket, and was needed to find a knock-up stream needed to help them get into Skypiea. Having been told this, Luffy and his crew quickly went in search for the bird. Splitting into various groups, Luffy and his crew searched the nearby forest for one of these elusive birds. Though they encountered all sorts of obstacles and antics while searching for the bird, they were able to catch one in the end thanks to Robin. With the captured bird, they went back to Cricket's. Upon returning, however, they discovered the horrid aftermath of an incident that happened while they were away. Cricket and his proteges were defeated and had been robbed by Bellamy and his crew. Spurred on by this, Luffy decided to go after Bellamy and get his wounded friend's gold back. At Mocktown, Luffy engaged with Bellamy, who wanted to prove once and for all to those around him that Luffy and Cricket's dreams were nothing. Despite Bellamy's over-the-top display of his devil fruit ability, Luffy, however, defeated the arrogant pirate with a single normal punch. Having completely obliterated Bellamy in front of his crew and the other pirates, Luffy was able to retrieve Cricket's gold without any further trouble. As the morning of the next day came, Luffy arrived back to Cricket's house. There, he saw the newly modified Going Merry as he gave Cricket's gold back. With the new modifications for the trip up to Skypiea and Southbird, Luffy and his crew set sails with the ships of Masura and Shoujo escorting them. As they were leaving, Luffy and his crew were cheered on by Cricket's final words of encouragement. With that, Luffy and his crew sailed off to where they could ride a knock-up stream. After a long wait out on sea, the weather and the sea started to show signs of a knock-up stream. As Luffy and his crew were preparing themselves for the journey to Skypiea, they suddenly encountered the ship and crew of the pirate that Luffy fought with in the bar. From this encounter, Luffy and his crew learned of his and Zoro's new bounties for which the pirate planned on collecting. The encounter, however, was brief as the knock-up stream started. With the knock-up stream shooting the Going Merry into the sky, Luffy and his crew set forth to new adventure as well as inadvertently escaping from the pursuing pirate.
L is for lovers who love one another. A is for ass, of which I like to eat. U is for you're the only one for me.